Hello there. It's a great and busy day at Elville and Associates, and happy holidays to you. My name is Jeff Stauffer, Community Relations Director here at Elville and Associates, and welcome to our very special webinar today, part of our wellness series and part of the Elville webinar series. And our topic for discussion today is Thriving Through the Holidays, a Celebration of Gratitude. Our special guest presenter today is Dr. Michelle Fritsch, who's led all of our wellness series presentations in the past and is a wonderful friend to our firm and many through her work in retirement wellness, and it's a pleasure to welcome Michelle back today. As we want this to be as interactive as possible, we're going to unmute all of our attendees at various times during the presentation, and you can still post your feedback through the questions panel and chat feature, but feel free to speak up and let your voice be heard. You received the presentation slides by email from me yesterday to take notes on them if you wish, and if for some reason you did not receive the slides, they're also available in the section marked handouts on your screen to download at this time. Everyone will also receive a post-webinar feedback email right after the presentation, so please take just a couple minutes to fill out this quick survey, offer us your thoughts about the presentation. And if you have thoughts about future ideas for wellness series topics or another topic for our Elville webinar series, as we head into the new year, we'd be very open to hear your thoughts and ideas, and we value your feedback very much about that. As always, here at Elville and Associates, we work every day with families, with clients, as well with ideals of client education, collaboration, and compassion in mind. And we're always available for consultations to discuss your family's planning needs and look forward to being a resource to you in any way now and as we head into the new year. So at this time, I'd like to welcome back and turn the webinar over to our presenter, Dr. Michelle Fritsch of Propel Comprehensive Wellness, who will share a little bit about herself and get the webinar underway. So Michelle, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you to you and Steve and the entire team for the invitation to be here. And I've such gratitude for all of you who are watching live. I do hope we have lots of interaction, and those that are watching later. We're going to be talking about thriving through the holidays. How many times have you heard people talk about surviving the holidays? But we really want to talk about tangible ways you can flip that switch to the point of thriving, and we do believe gratitude's a big part of it. My partner, Ellen Platt, who is so sad she couldn't be here today, but Ellen and I have programming that is focused on a deep need that we've seen throughout our careers, which is so much preventable health decline. And from each of our avenues within the healthcare system, we've watched it happen over and over. And we see really key things that we can help people do to not only, we know a lot of people plan legal matters, like as you do with the expert guidance of Elville and Associates. People do a lot of planning on the financial side, but we propose that a strong wellness portfolio is just as important, because there are some things you can do to help yourself not only stay alive longer, but to thrive, to really have the function and the vitality and the engagement in life that you're looking for at every phase, definitely including transitioning into retirement and beyond. So that's what we're all about, and we'll send you more information about that later. So for now, let's think about flipping that switch from surviving to thriving in the holidays. Before we start, I'd love to know why you are here. What is it about this topic that attracted you, or what are those stressors that can make you feel like you're just surviving? So you can tell me, you can just come on and tell me, or you can put it in the chat, either way, that whatever is your preference.
Yeah, and everybody is unmuted if they do want to share their thoughts through your microphone, or you can note it in the questions panel or chat panel.
Jeff and I were just talking about what an incredibly busy time of year this is. So again, such gratitude that you chose to spend time here. I want to make sure that it meets all of your needs and addresses the things that you want to talk about. So would love to hear from you.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi. So I would say what drew me here is I'm kind of curious to see how well I'm doing because I feel like I'm doing fairly well. So I just want to see what I might be missing.
I love that. Find if there are any holes that you can plug up along the way, or at least make great things even better. Thank you for coming.
Have a comment here. Family dynamics are sometimes challenging, especially during the holidays.
Yes. We've got a very
And then we
specific.
have, we have one more comment. Hi there, Marilyn, and thanks for the comment, Joe. Marilyn says the same reason as the first person who spoke. Thank you for that. Hi, Mr. Smith. Always appreciate the Elville seminars. Thank you.
Love that. Excellent. Well, we'll get started. But if you think of something or you want me to slow down, go back over something, don't hesitate to let me know. And at any point, put comments and questions in the chat. I appreciate that. So if you've ever heard me talk about anything before, you know that I love to emphasize that health is so much more than our diagnoses and the medications that we take and what kind of aches and pains we're dealing with. It's so much more. And I think especially in this post-COVID era, we're recognizing how important our mental health, our emotional health, our social health. I hate that we ever called it social distancing, because we need to be together to be truly healthy, and our spiritual health, whatever that is for you. All those pieces come together. I've had people tell me before, the last thing I need is someone else yapping at me about what I should eat and how much I should exercise. That's not the only thing that's important in your health. So we're going to talk about many different aspects and then how those help you thrive through the holidays. So let's get started. How do you react to stress? And I'm going to give you what I see as two ends of the spectrum. Are you a weather vane? Something happens in the world, you're blowing to and fro. This bad thing happened, this good thing happened. So-and-so called you with something distressing, and then something didn't work out right. You lost your keys and you lost your phone, and things are just kind of blowing around. Do you feel like you're whipped around all day long? Or are you like an anchor or a compass where there's some movement, but for the most part, you can stay pretty steady? For those of you that are doing a self-assessment with this, think about that. How much are you blowing to and fro with all the things happening around you? And how much are you able to stay steady in the midst of all those occurrences? Is there anything anybody wants to say to that? Because I don't think any of us are completely at one end or the other. And some days are probably much better than others. Any comments, Jeff?
The one that says, on the outside I look like an anchor, but inside I feel like I am a weather vane.
Oh, that's an insightful statement. I do not in any way think you're alone. Thank you. Thank you for being brave to share that. One thing to be aware of is be aware of what makes you happy, what makes you laugh out loud, what makes you smile, what commercials make you cry. Endorphins are those hormones that we all have that are amped up. We get more of those when we're doing the things we love the most. They make you feel satisfied, content, those happiness emotions. You get excited about things, feel stimulated and engaged with what's going on around you. So when you think about whatever your holiday practices are, what are the ones that make you feel the best, that, oh, you just love when those particular sorts of things happen? Any examples anyone wants to throw out?
Food.
Food, definitely some of those favorite foods that kind of just bring back all the holiday memories. Absolutely.
See, I'm pretty good at recognizing stressors, and fortunately the TV and radio have on-off buttons.
Yes. Oh, I highly encourage everyone to use the off button liberally. Has anyone else seen, a friend just sent this to me yesterday, and it's the long version of a Chevy commercial. It's like a 5-minute version of this commercial where the family is gathering and the grandma has dementia and is not engaging with anyone. And they take her for a ride in the Chevy, and all the memories kind of come flooding back for a short period. Has anyone seen that?
Yes.
Look, oh my goodness, it makes me cry every time.
I was going to say I haven't seen it, but I don't think I want to. I don't want to cry.
But they're happy tears. I think they're happy tears.
It's a great commercial. It's a very well done commercial.
Yes.
See that?
All right, we will keep going, but stop me at any time. Again, if you've been to our previous wellness seminar series, you've heard us talk about this a little bit. But any of us, when we are feeling frightened or threatened or overwhelmed by things happening around us, there's a part of our brain, and I point to the back. It's about, I call it the walnut because it's about the size of a walnut. Ellen calls it her lizard brain because it's like our most basic of functions, right back here, that when we're frightened or threatened, it drives, and its intention is to help us safely get away from the threat. And so imagine where twice in your life you get chased by a bear, and that's the only time that part of your brain is stimulated. And there may have been times in the world when that was true. But now we get that kind of stimulation daily, especially if we don't liberally use the off button on the radio and the phone and the TV. And so when we're constantly bombarded by those things and we let that fight, flight, or freeze part of our brain make the decisions, our decisions are not well thought out. And I've had so many people tell me, oh, I used to be creative, but I'm not creative anymore. Anyone else feel that way? You just lost your creativity? There are ways to reclaim your brain, to take the driver position away from that amygdala in the back of your brain and bring it back. There's a reason this part of our head is so big. This part of our brain contains our frontal cortex, and that's where we have our smart decisions. It's where we're able to think creatively and logically and solve problems. And remember, where I put the dongle to my computer, Jeff knows I lost it earlier and I was all in a panic. Well, when I was in a panic, I could not remember where it was. When I calmed myself down, I remembered the not so brilliant place I had placed it. Can anyone relate to that? That when you're feeling stressed, all of that ability to be logical and thoughtful and even think about other people instead of being in your own survival mode, all of that is better when you're calmer and you're in this part of your brain. So I want to, as we go today, we're going to talk about some techniques specifically to make that happen. Take the control from the amygdala that's just trying to get you to stay in survival mode and put it back up here so you can be creative again and you can make much better decisions about everything, little decisions and big decisions. So one key aspect of this is there is such a deep link between our anxious thoughts, how we perceive pain, and our sleep. And over the last few years in particular, we've learned this mind-body connection. I think probably we, society, healthcare is still learning more about this. But being able to be in the right part of our brain and control our emotions and calm down allows so many restorative things, so many of the things we need for our body to fully function come from getting good sleep. But it's hard to sleep when you're feeling anxious or when you're experiencing pain or when you wake up and the thoughts just kind of take over and really wake you up. So what are those ways to relieve the anxiety, to not have such an over-the-top response to pain, and to get good sleep? Well, one aspect of that is we're going to send you some tips in the email. I think you might have already received it in the email from Jeff before, but I also believe he's going to send it to you again, emphasizing your sleep and finding those ways to get better sleep. It helps every organ of your body. Your heart functions better, your lungs function better, your eyes function better, your kidneys function better, your brain functions better. Everything is better when you get adequate sleep. And so a quote from Thomas Dekker: "Sleep's the golden chain that ties health and our bodies together." I know during the holidays, a lot of people talk about less sleep. They're trying to get in. I know a few young moms that do their Christmas shopping in the middle of the night in stores that are open 24 hours because it's the only time that they feel like they can get away without the children and do their shopping. We'll talk about a sleep buster. I know a number of people try to get their year-end professional goals completed, and so they deprive themselves of sleep to reach those goals. And others just have so much busyness in preparing meals, wrapping gifts, selecting gifts, whatever the steps might be, that sleep is the thing that is given up in order to meet the other goals. Has anyone ever done this? Anybody relate to this?
Definitely.
And as the year winds up, does it almost get even worse? You know, there's just so much more to do, so much more busyness.
Used to. It's gotten better since I stopped working full time.
Oh, that would help. Good, good, good. Anybody have any particular sleep tips they want to share that they know what I'm talking about, but they've been able to overcome it because of some special thing you do?
Well, we have one client here, Mr. Smith, again says he has not had that issue, but surrounded by others who have. I'll just say briefly that, you know, Michelle, you and I have had in-depth conversations about this, about my sleep issues. I'm astounded by the number of people that I've talked to that actually do have a lot of sleep issues. It's a lot more than I ever imagined. So one thing that has helped me certainly is breathing exercises, which if I would just remember to do them, that would certainly be a great start. But it is something that has helped me in the past for sure.
Good. If anyone's interested, go to my LinkedIn post today, was on this topic. But I had early in my career, there was a healthcare leader, a leader in our healthcare institution, who prided himself on his 4 hours of sleep a night and how much he got done because he only slept 4 hours. And he talked about it frequently, and I actually tried for a while to deprive myself of sleep because I thought to be successful, I needed to be more like him. I did not do well on less sleep, especially I was a young mother at the time, and that really was a bad combination. But he passed away in his early 60s, and I think we've got enough evidence now to say that his body really paid the toll for that lack of sleep. So anything we can do to enhance sleep has long-term dividends.
We have a couple of comments from our good friend Joe from Joe Sperling Insurance, always a great supporter of our firm and our presentations. He says, don't have the cell phone on the nightstand. Really good idea.
It is.
A cup of hot chocolate is always relaxing as well.
I like that. Kind of calm you down. We did a fun activity at our house last night, and we had an early Christmas with my daughter's boyfriend because he's going to be going home to his parents at the end of the semester. And so a friend gave me a recipe of combining body butter and shea butter and coconut oil and mixing it up. And then we got all of these essential oils, all these different scents, and everyone made their own scent for their lotion. It was really fun, but scents can be something that help you sleep better as well. They say lavender is one, but there are others that if it calms you, it can actually be a sleep aid as well. And I encourage you to try the whole whip up some lotion and let everybody pick their scent. It was a lot of fun. So if you've not done this before, this is a really powerful way to reclaim your brain from the amygdala, the walnut in the back, to the front part. And it's what the Navy SEALs use because they frequently have to be laser focused on what's going on and not be distracted and not be fearful. So I'm going to describe it, and then we're going to try it 3 different times with different techniques. A lot of people find it's a good way to practice a favorite verse or a favorite quote or something else so that as they're breathing, they're also affirming themselves with some statement. So we're gonna try this in lots of ways. So first of all, what is it? You breathe in through your nose with your mouth shut for 4 seconds. And then hold it. Once your lungs are full, hold it for 4 seconds. And then out as if you were breathing out through a straw. So through your mouth, but with your lips kind of curled. 4 seconds out. And then you hold it again for 4 seconds. So 4 seconds to fill your lungs, then hold it with your lungs full. 4 seconds to empty your lungs and hold it with your lungs empty. Is that making sense to everybody? And 4 seconds is like the starting point. I know people who go up to as much as 18 seconds per side of their box. So whatever feels comfortable for you. So now let's play with this a little bit and add some words to think of while you're breathing. So here's our first one. I'm going to use my fingers to indicate whether we're going up, across, down, or back across. And I'll read this as we go. So everyone ready? Sit tall. We're ready to breathe in. When you do the right thing, you get the feeling of peace and serenity associated with it. Do it again and again. All right, now we're going to do it again. We're going to use, if I can get this to go, we're going to use a Bible verse this time. We're breathing in. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your heart be troubled, and do not be afraid. And we have one more. Breathing in. Love recognizes no barriers. It jumps hurdles, leaps fences, penetrates walls to arrive at its destination full of hope. And that's from Maya Angelou. I cannot get enough of her quotes. Think of your own favorite quote or verse or scripture or statement. I spoke to somebody who works with pediatric cancer. Can you imagine little kids battling cancer, the pain associated with that? And this person said they always give the children a chance to choose a focus statement or a focus word while they're breathing to try to get through the procedure or the pain. And anyone want to guess what the most popular word is that the children choose? It's pizza. So imagine every 4 seconds you're breathing pizza. It helped a lot of kids get through cancer therapy. Any comments about this? Anybody already do this? I know we've talked about it before.
I do already do this. I've done it like sometimes getting stuck in traffic.
Oh, I like
It's a
that.
good time to calm me down.
Do you just count or do you add words to it?
I have typically just counted.
And that certainly works too. Anyone else?
This is doing a tour, giving
Tell me again, I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear. Any comments, Jeff?
Maybe that person that just tried to speak, maybe you could type it in there.
Oh, you're watching too?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm Phyllis, Ellen's mother. And anyway, I started doing the deep breathing at times, and it really got me out of a palpitation kind of a thing that was going on with me, and I didn't know why. Nothing was wrong with my heart. And it turned out that I was tensing up for no reason. I just found myself doing that, and that's probably what started the palpitations. But the deep breathing really did get me out of it, and it does calm and give you a peaceful time.
Yes. And I love being guided through these by Ellen because she has such a peaceful voice.
Yeah, despite all of her anxious moments of things she has to do and keep up with.
I talked to someone the other day who said Ellen is juggling chainsaws.
That's about it.
But she
Chainsaws.
handles it well.
I can say that, Michelle, you mentioned these to me, and we've talked about these in the past a while ago. This box breathing is just so incredibly helpful. I've done it at work. I've done it at home. I've done it when I've tried to sleep, and it's to me, it's amazing how immediate the positive effects of it can be. So it certainly is something that should be repeated whenever necessary, in my opinion. Yeah.
Someone mentioned family dynamics early as we were getting started, and I have found even in a really tense confrontational situation, if I can sit there and just quietly do this, no one even has to know I'm doing it. Oh, it keeps me from getting so anxious and kind of keeps me focused on what's going on. It has gotten me through some really tense meetings and family arguments and such.
If it's good enough for high-level military operations, I think it's good enough for me.
Probably. Oh, let me see. I'm trying to get it to go again. There we go. So what are some of your favorite things? Because we talked a little bit about endorphins, getting the neurotransmitters, the signals in your brain that drive the more happy, relaxed, contented feelings that you have. Part of that is being aware of what you like and surrounding yourself with more of it, especially during stressful seasons. So what are some of your favorite things? Someone mentioned food earlier. That's definitely one.
I actually like cooking. I find cooking soothing, therapeutic. Sometimes I play the piano, but if I'm not getting it done well, then I stop because that's more frustrating.
Right. I can relate to this. And when you're cooking, everybody benefits.
Watching little children and how they're enjoying what's happening around them.
Yeah, no matter what's going on around them, they can just have so much fun and be so light and breezy.
Sorry, I muted myself. We have several comments here. Walks, eating, lollipops, learning new languages, learning new things. For example, learning to play the harmonica, doing ham radio with buddies.
Fun. My grandfather was an avid ham radio operator, and I loved sitting in the basement as he was communicating with people all over the world. It was fascinating. When you're having those sort of downward slumps during the holidays, think about these things and give yourself the space to engage with those favorite things, kind of get out of the chaos of the other stressful things that might be going on. Be flexible. I thought it was funny. I was talking about this with a group of adults in person, and I said, everybody stand up, and their eyes got big, like, oh no, she's not going to make us. It was funny, but flexibility certainly helps at this time. I've got a family member who does not embrace change in any way. And holidays can be especially difficult for him because inevitably something doesn't go as he probably envisioned it. Can anyone relate to that? And what kind of advice would you give him to manage some more flexibility when there's so many pieces of a holiday that are outside of our control?
It's not easy to say, well, try to let go of the things that don't work out, but I've gotten away from trying to make it perfection and try more to enjoy the moments. And sometimes the things that didn't work out, something better comes out of it. So I don't know. It's more of a go with the flow instead of trying to go for perfection.
I like that. I noticed this with weddings. Think about any weddings you've attended, including your own. I often find it's the things that don't go right that are the most memorable and that we talk about and even laugh about later, maybe not in the moment, but later, because they're the pieces that are the most memorable. I remember I had two little ring bearers, and they would not carry their pillows, but one was willing to carry cookies and one was willing to carry crackers. So that's what they carried down the aisle. Does anybody else get caught up in this? So many options, so many things in the stores, from grocery stores to places you might be buying gifts. My daughters and I even got caught up in this trying to find gift wrap the other day. We spent way too much time looking at our options and how much better we'd be served to just make a decision and move on. Can anyone relate to this one?
We have a comment from, I think relates somewhat to this, but also from the previous slide, which says the only thing that you can control is you yourself, so concentrate on controlling you.
That's beautiful. And that's where things like the box breathing can kind of come in, and like the last person said, relinquishing that control and trying to go with the flow. I love that.
Another comment related to this slide is analysis paralysis.
Yes. No one's going to know which gift wrap I did not purchase. They'll never know. And they really don't care that much about the one that I did purchase. So here's just a few kind of basic tips. And I know this is not rocket science or things that you've not thought of before, but put them in the context of this busy holiday season. Focus on the things you love best. Back to your favorite things with that slide with all the lollipops. Take breaks. Let yourself not get it all done in the same day that you planned it. Focus more on that balance between doing but also not overdoing, which is hard. I recognize that it is. Seek relaxation and kind of know for you what relaxes you. We've heard about playing piano, cooking, maybe a nap, maybe taking the walk, getting out in nature, sitting by a cozy fire. Somebody mentioned hot chocolate. What are your particular things? And give yourself the time to enjoy those. And then move. Oh my goodness, who's ever had that busy day where you're cleaning the house and you're cooking the food and your body aches at the end of the day? If I could see you raising hands, I think I'd see a lot of hands raised. So letting yourself stretch and move in other ways, even right now, just sit here and try to just do some stretching, take some deep breaths, making sure that you don't stay in one place for too long. Movement of different kinds, not the same repetitive movement, but a variety of movements can really help with the relaxation and keep you from those body aches at the end of a busy day. And then again, folks have talked about family dynamics. I know stories. I've had clients over the years who have had to go back to holiday gatherings with people who've abused them in the past. I mean, just really awful things. Hopefully in your case, it's not quite like that, but there may be people that you just don't get along with so well. They always talk politics. They always do something that makes it difficult. Some things to think about are doing the things that you like before you get there, perhaps having a trusted friend that you can talk to before you get there, who knows what you're going to be going through, who's kind of maybe on speed dial if you should need them during the visit. Trying not to have to sit beside or across from the people that are the most difficult. Trying to kind of stay a little bit more distant. Leave the room, have other things to do, other people to engage with during the visit. And then as soon as you leave, having that somebody you can call and talk to just to kind of decompress from anything that might have been difficult. So I'd love to hear from you. Is that helpful or is it more complex than that? I'm going to address this in a little bit of a different way as we go. Helping others tends to always help us. Have you found that when you do something for someone, when you do something for someone else, you yourself might get more out of it than the person you helped? It's amazing how we are wired that way. So when we're in that fight or flight mode, we tend to only think about ourselves. One of the ways out of it is to think about other people, do something for someone else. It can be something big, like you go serve a meal at a homeless shelter, or you give something to someone who needs it. It could even be something small, like waving someone in front of you in traffic, or holding a door, or just saying hello. providing a compliment to someone. There's a number of ways that we can help each other, but it's not just the person helped that benefits, it's you, the helper, that benefits tremendously. Anyone have any examples they want to share?
Yeah, somebody says, yes, my well-planned day yesterday was changed when a colleague needed some help during the day. Not a big deal, but rearranged my day.
And hopefully you both benefited from being able to be there and do that. Some healthy practices, and this is a little bit repetitive, but schedule time. Give yourself that break time, that walk away time, that get out and take your walk or drink your hot cocoa time. Kind of mentioned scheduling your well-scheduled day yesterday and how it got changed. As you are scheduling those busy days, include scheduling some time for yourself. Being mindful rather than zoning out. Oh my goodness, I've heard such dramatic stories about this just this week. The number of people who don't want to be alone with their thoughts, and so they're constantly doing something to avoid that. Maybe mindlessly doing something on their phone, watching television, playing games, consuming not so healthy substances that cause them to not think as sharply. Whatever the thing might be, running from their thoughts. And I know that can be really tempting. But one of the healthy practices we can do is actually absorb the quiet, the empty space. Let there be silence and actually do an analysis of all those thoughts that are in there. And often the things we think are worries, oh, what if this happens, that could happen, this would be terrible, oh my goodness, what about that? Those things don't come true. Very rarely do our worst fears ever come true. So how can you recognize those worries and flip them into something more positive? I'm going to be thinking about her as she takes that exam tomorrow because I know she can do it. I know it's going to be okay. Or I'm going to be really thinking about them as they're traveling because I know the roads are busy, but they're smart, they're good drivers, they're going to be okay.
Going back just to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, avoid practicing all these things when you're tired. When you're tired, be tired. Let yourself rest. Don't like force yourself to go do the positive things. Go ahead, Jeff.
Going back just a moment, somebody that says, I paid for a cup of coffee for an individual in front of me who lacked change, and the person behind me paid for my coffee.
Oh, you started a chain reaction. I love that.
That's good.
You hear about those in the drive-throughs of restaurants once in a while. That's fantastic. Someone said earlier about go with the flow. Expect ups and downs. You know it's not going to go perfectly no matter how well you prepare it. So kind of prepare for the unprepared. And then I mentioned, you know, having those friends, those loved ones that you can call, especially before and after doing something difficult. Just embrace all those people in your life and stay close to them. Is anyone navigating the holidays with loved ones with dementia? Is this pertinent to anybody on the call? I'll go through this quickly just in case anyone finds themselves in this situation. But the number one thing is structure. Not a lot of chaos, not a lot of last minute, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, but a calm environment where maybe everybody's in the house, you know, the whole family, multiple generations, but you find a quiet corner for the person with dementia and people come up and speak to that person one at a time slowly and gently, not all at once, and give them a safe place to get away. If they need to go take a nap in one of the bedrooms, if they need to just go get away from everybody for a while because they're getting overstimulated, kind of have a plan for that. And then calmly preparing them for what's next. You know, Mom, we're gonna eat in 10 minutes. Do you need to go to the bathroom? Or let's go to the bathroom before time to eat. Okay, we're gonna eat in 5 minutes. We're gonna eat in 2 minutes. We're gonna walk to the table now where we're gonna eat. Kind of let it be simple steps with plenty of warning, and try not to have too much chaos in their environment. I was working with some people recently who wanted to take their loved one with dementia to a fancy restaurant for the holidays. Probably not the best, although the rest of the family would enjoy the fancy restaurant. For that person, that would be so far outside their comfort zone and their structure and what they kind of can grasp. It would be really distressful. It would be better to have peanut butter and jelly in their nursing home room than to take them to a restaurant, unfortunately, for their own comfort and to not distress them. This is kind of related to what we talked to earlier, that when you're feeling stressed in a stressful situation on those difficult days, getting alone can be helpful briefly. If that helps you to kind of, again, breathe and calm your mind and think about what's going on and how you want to deal with it. But to completely isolate yourself and step away from everyone is not a healthy response. One reason for that is we can get ourselves into these negative thought spirals. And if no one is there to kind of bring us out of it, those can go deep and be very destructive. So instead, can you reach out for help? Who could you call? Who could you go visit with? Who could you let know that you're going through a really difficult day? Because just like the buying the coffee, helping others helps both. I was speaking to a group about this a few weeks ago, and one of the men said, "Oh, I don't bother other people with my bad days. I'll just bring them down." And one of the other men in the group said, "How dare you rob me of the chance to come alongside you on a day like that, because I would feel so much better if you let me do that." I was kind of like, okay, my work here is done. Any other comments about this? Being isolated is not good. There is so much evidence, just like with sleep and how destructive it can be to us, with isolation. And my goodness, did we not see this with COVID? When someone does not have interaction with someone else, their health declines so rapidly. We saw so many devastating stories of that during the lockdown. So never let your friends feel lonely. Disturb them all the time.
We have a comment here that says, I had to learn to allow people to help and give up feeling strong and capable all the time.
Oh, there is such truth in that. And thank you for sharing that. I mean, just think about all the people you've known throughout your life who've gone through a terrible event, maybe a loved one who was horribly sick, and what it took to coax them to let you come alongside them and help. I've seen that. You're just reminding me of so many times I've seen that. So how can we kind of even prepare ourselves to be open to that help, knowing that we're going to feel better, but the person helping us is actually going to feel better as well. You're not taking from them, you're giving them an opportunity to help you. This was in our title for today, expressing gratitude. No matter how much has gone wrong, and there's always something going wrong, what are the good things? I think we tend to focus so much on what we've not yet done or what's not in our favor or what's not going the way we want it to. that we ignore all the things that are going right. How did we get to, we're gonna check, where are we? December 12th from January 1st. What all things had to go right for us to be here today? So I'm curious. I'm going to mention some multitudes of ways to do this, but do you carve out time during your day to focus on what's going right and be grateful for it? Does anyone journal as a way to kind of express your thoughts and organize your thoughts? You don't even have to use punctuation when you journal. Just get the thoughts out there. Or does anyone do walks, like thought walks or prayer walks? Yes, someone said something.
I tend to do that through prayer at night, especially all the things that did go well during the day, and I think that's why I sleep well. But and then in the morning, it's like another chance. So I'm thankful in the morning as well. So that's my way of doing it.
I love that. Thank you. Times of reflection. Does anyone ever just sort of unplug the world and just let their thoughts kind of run and capture all the good things that have happened and realize that the good outweighs the bad pretty much all the time? At least you're upright, you're breathing, you're still here, and there's hope for the day to come ahead. And then does anyone have a gratitude jar? Some of us kind of need that more kinesthetic, tangible, write it down, put it in a jar where you can look at all the slips of paper, all the sticky notes in your jar and realize, wow, all of these good things are happening.
Great idea.
I have a group that's gathering tonight. They're all business owners, all fairly early in their business, which is such a hard time. That's why we're together as a group, is everyone helps each other overcome hurdles. But tonight's going to be just about celebration, just the things that went right, because there are plenty of obstacles still ahead of each and every person, but we're just going to focus on the good stuff. And I think that's going to be so much fun. So family dynamics, we've talked about that a little bit, and I know some of you are doing a self-check. Has this been helpful? Is there anything here that you're going to take away as a to-do? I have one more tool for us, but before we get there, I'd love to hear how we're doing so far.
We have somebody that says the breathing discussion was very helpful.
Good. So that's what we're going to do next. One more of those. This can be a breath prayer or a breath quote. So we're going to practice it both ways. And you probably have your own favorite quotes or scriptures or verses that you like, but we're going to try this both ways. This time, instead of a box, we're just going to breathe in slowly through our nose and out slowly, same way with the sort of curled lips, like with a straw. And we, again, very slowly, just take your lungs from empty to as full as you can, and then back out. And when you're filling your lungs, I want everybody to try something. If you go, you fill your chest, but if you go really slow, I want you to feel how your whole belly expands. Everybody take a breath, but so slow that you're not only your lungs, but your belly expands. Are you feeling the difference? Another way to do that, they teach this to singers, is put your tongue in the roof of your mouth and breathe in slowly through your mouth, but with your tongue up in the roof, and feel how that lets you further expand your lungs and belly. So in those stressful times, those really, truly deep breaths are magical. So let's do this with the verse to start with. We're going to breathe in and then breathe out. So the first one is, be still and know that I am God. And just to do that over and over, I know it's one of my favorite things in the middle of the night when the thoughts are racing, just to slow my breathing and focus on that verse. I've got some others that I really like that really helps me to calm all those thoughts and bring them in and be relaxed and get back to sleep. Another one, this is from Vincent van Gogh. As we're breathing in, there is peace. Back out, even in the storm. So I'm so grateful you joined me today. I hope you're able to take these breathing techniques and other things with you so that you can thrive in the holiday season. And we invite you, Jeff's going to send you more information about Propel and some further tips, and grateful for all of you.
Michelle, thank you so much. What a fitting end to our webinar series for the year, ending on my favorite presentation of the year. It's funny how I scheduled that. Michelle's just a great resource, everybody. And I've known Michelle, we've known each other for a long time. You've presented to our client care program. You've done so many installments of our wellness series in the past. And I'd like to thank you again for just a wonderful presentation, which I'm just going to put on replay in my office every second that I'm here. It's going to help me out, I think. So a huge thank you to you and to our attendees as well, for everyone here, for their participation, your thoughts, your comments, for just really adds a lot of value for everybody here. We hope you got a lot out of today. And in your comments in the survey that we asked that you take just a couple minutes to fill out, share with us what else you'd like to hear from Michelle and Ellen in a further webinar wellness series presentation as we enter 2024. Love to hear your thoughts and feedback. So please take a couple minutes to do that. So this is going to end our webinar series for 2023, and really looking forward to what we have in store for 2024. We'll start off January with a lot of our traditional presentations to get you off on the right foot for the new year. And then in February, we have a lot of new presentations that are a direct result of your thoughts and comments as to what you want to see from our webinar series going into next year. So again, thank you for your thoughts. So with that said, have a wonderful Christmas and happy Hanukkah to everybody that's celebrating, and hope you just have a great holiday season. We appreciate your relationship with Elville and Associates and your interest in our webinar series, and we will see you again soon. Have a great day, everybody. And thanks again, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you.